I'm Allendale's chief meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Well, we're a couple of days into the newer or upgraded GFS, and you know what? The model performance is stacking up a little bit better with the Europeans, so I guess the days of us being able to completely throw out the GFS are probably gone. But that doesn't mean I'm going to jump on the bandwagon whole hog like some other people in the trade seem to do. So at this point, we're going to take it under advisement. We are seeing a colder development in our pattern as we go on through the end of this weekend into next. The European was jumping on that early in the weekend, and we like that solution. And the thing is, it doesn't come with just big troughs digging in over the eastern third of the country. We're actually seeing between now and about the 17th, 18th of November, a change in the pattern from the typical trough ridge, especially with the ridging out to the west. We're seeing a change in that to more of a slow, sagging overall cool down. This is the time of year that we see the jet stream kind of work its way farther to the south, and you lead to more of these northwesterly clipper type systems. Initially here between now and about the 16th and 17th, we are going to be seeing several waves of energy that are going to act an awful lot like clippers, but you're not going to see the ridge amplification over the western part of the country, especially as we go into the week after next. It really looks like we're going to be settling in for cold across a good part of the country. So that being said, what do we see here as we go through midday? Well, short term, no serious changes. We've got a frontal boundary that's going to be working its way out of the plains and across the Corn Belt from later this afternoon right on through the night tonight and into tomorrow. The front itself still doesn't impress me that much. We're going to be seeing probably a third of an inch or less moisture with coverage about 60% over most of the Corn Belt. You get down into extreme southern parts of Illinois, the Boot Heel or southern and southeastern parts of Missouri, we can see better thunderstorm potential there. Maybe you see half an inch or more in some areas there. But, that doesn't change. That's what we talked about in our online write-up this morning, and we're going to continue to rock and roll with that. Behind the front, we're going to cool temperatures down a little bit, but not dramatically. As a matter of fact, a good part of the Corn Belt probably will stay above the freezing mark. That is until we deal with some of these cooler pushes that both the European and now the GFS are pointing toward as we go into the weekend. The first one comes in as we go through the end of the week, Friday into Saturday. Then we've got another one Sunday into Monday, Tuesday. And you're just going to kind of see wave after wave of cool air pulsing down across a good part of the country. Both of those, or most of those waves as they come through, will bring cloud cover with them, significant cloud cover to parts of the Corn Belt. Maybe not a lot of precipitation, though. It looks like the best areas of precipitation are going to be in the typical clipper-like areas. So we're talking Great Lakes, a little bit into Wisconsin and northern Minnesota. But getting south of I-80, it looks like it's going to be just a little bit more difficult to see widespread moisture. However, with the temperatures cooling down, any moisture that does get seen anywhere will take a longer time to try and leave. It's not like we're looking at instantaneous dry down behind in the air masses. So I think the remaining little bit of harvest is going to be kind of strung out a little bit. We're going to be dodging more showers. There's going to be guys that have some stuff left for a while. That's probably one of the reasons why the progress numbers that come out this afternoon are going to be so key, because whatever's left from here is definitely going to be a bit more of a chore to get completed. With regard to serious precipitation, we still don't see a really strong frontal boundary coming in until we get on into the week after next, or I should say toward the end of next week, that 13th, 14th, 15th time frame. Fairly significant boundary that wants to work its way through. We were talking about this morning, and honestly, there's no reason to back away from it based on what we're seeing at midday. Significant low digging down into eastern Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma Panhandle areas, and then kind of hooking northeast. That's not the exact kind of spot where we see our strongest or best winter type storms. And if you could see me, you'd know that I'm using the bunny ears on that. But it is going to be a storm that has formidable moisture ahead of it in the warm sector, and then good wraparound or backside. In the central plains and back into northeast Colorado, southeast Wyoming, Nebraska Panhandle, I think we're going to be looking at our first good snows there. And then if the cold air holds and does a good enough job at staying in place to the backside of that, I think we could see snow spread across parts of the Corn Belt as well. It's still a little early in the season to really talk about this being a monster winter storm, but it's got all the characteristics that if it were just a few weeks later, we could be talking about it. That's the one that I think starts to really bring down the cold air over a good part of the country, bringing in more of that zonal or that west to east flow pattern, and that's probably what's really going to kick the cooler temperature pattern off as we go through the rest of the month of November. There'll still be some warming days in there. We're still going to be subject to some south winds from time to time. But we're definitely going to be stair-stepping things down here going forward. That's what we've got in your forecast at midday. If you've got any questions about the weather, give us a call here at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.